everyone. Welcome to Build Your Best Life. Happy New Year to everyone who has not been on this year. Hi, RJ. How are you?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm doing wonderful. How was your first day of school?
First day of school is amazing. It's great to feel back on, what was it, back on college campus and everything like that. Uh, I really missed a lot of my friends. The professor that I've met with so far has been great. I'm really excited for the subject that he's about to teach on, which I'm taking the speech class. And my geology class doesn't start until the 24th. So for me, this semester is starting off much slower pace than my previous one, and it means I can start off much stronger than my previous semester. So I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a great time.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, everyone, this year our theme is all about reach. We have choices. Life is just, I'll just say it's hilarious because you have to make it fun, funny. But there is so much lousy behavior, people performing unlawful acts, doing unethical things, that are rude and unkind to people. We have youth and as well as others headed in the wrong direction. Now you can ignore it. You can add in your 2 cents, or you can reach out and attempt to make a difference. Think about that. Which will you choose? I hope it's you will plan to reach out this year because we need your help. And I'm excited about our theme for January. It's reaching to increase self-worth. And self-worth is something that a lot of people don't think about. But we are going to be talking about that along with our topic for today, which is it starts with you. It starts with you. So I know we talked a little bit about you going back to school, but tell us about your break, and did you do anything exciting or fun during your break?
So my break was actually, I wouldn't say it was necessarily eventful per se, but it was actually a really great break. The three things to highlight is I got to spend great time with family. I got to spend time with my dad and mom's side. Went to Oklahoma and Broken Bow down with my dad. And then for my mom's side, I went down to Marshall and spent some great time with them. We had this whole great prayer get together and all that. So that was really great. And then whenever spending time with my dad's family, we always have family from the Bahamas coming down. So that was really nice to see all my aunts and everything like that, seeing them come down. And we got to go and spend it down in Broken Bow, Oklahoma in a cabin, which the cabin was really nice and all that. Really glad my dad was able to give me that experience. And, it was just overall a really great time. And then second thing I would say is I spent some pretty good time with friends. Didn't spend as much time with friends over the break as I wish I could have, or I wish I did. But still was able to have a pretty great time. Went down to Cidercade, went down to went bowling with a couple of my friends, just went out just generally shopping and just overall having a good time. It was a great time to just spend time and commune with a few of my friends outside of school, because I feel like those are the times that you get to really build upon those relationships. Like it's great to have those deep conversations and everything like that, and have those moments where you get to see them on a day-to-day basis. But taking out the time to go and build that relationship outside of the normal day-to-day experiences is very important as well. So I made sure to go and do that, and that was a great opportunity over the break as well. But then the last one is I would say is I just got to spend some time with myself and just got to go and take some great walks and got to go and experience some state parks. Also started working on a personal craft of mine, which is videography and recording videos, everything like that. It's been overall a really great break, really progressive, really refreshing. It was very much so needed, but I'm glad I had it, and I hope everybody else had a great winter too, and got plenty of great gifts. Or if you don't do Christmas, just had a great time and got to have a great New Year's too.
Well, that's wonderful. Sounds like you had a great time, and especially having that opportunity to spend time with yourself, because that's very, very important.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So before we get started here, I want to welcome everyone on. Thank you so much for tuning in, because you could have been doing anything else. So hello, Karen. How are you? Dan, Pastor Herb Ford, and I see a new name out there, Gordon Corbett. Thank you so much for tuning in, Dan Smith. And we're going to get started with our topic today. It all starts with you. Self-worth is all about a person and what they bring to the table. Most importantly, it's that it starts with you. It's not what someone else can look at and say, oh, that person is about this or that. It's about what's inside. What are your values? What are your ethics, what do you believe in, and you live your life based on that self-worth. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, it's kind of like mindset, because if you have a positive mindset, more than likely that self-worth is going to be positive as well, and then vice versa. So, RJ, do you agree that your self-worth starts with you? And if so, tell us why or why not.
Most definitely. I can actually personally attest to this because this is something I thought quite a bit with over break is being able to personally assess your self value and your self worth is something that deep was it 100% starts from within. You have to find out what exactly it is that what exactly gives you your innate value. A friend of mine had once said that was once we're born into this world, we're not born with innate value. We have to find it, and we have to craft it within ourselves. So I feel like that's a great great mentality to go into things with. God, He gifts each and every one of us with various different gifts and proficiencies and different ways that He makes each of us different. And, being able to take out the time to be able to find out what exactly it is that God gave you as a gift, and to be able to not only manifest that, but to proudly take upon that and to build upon that is something that I feel like is a crucial step in building upon your self worth and your self value. So it most definitely starts within yourself to be able to find your self value. You're not going to find that's really sustaining validation in an exterior source. You're gonna have to find that on the inside.
Great. I so agree with you. It comes from the inside. And that's another reason why it's so very important. I can't say it enough, to love yourself. It just all to me, it just all starts with you. And your self-worth is, as you stated, it's internal. So that's an internal component of who you are, what you believe, and then based on that, a lot of times is how others feel about you or how they perceive you. But we have, if you have strong self-worth and you use your skills and your talents and you have that purpose, you probably will far more, I would say, have a clearer path to reaching your goals than someone who does not. So it does, I think, also give you confidence in yourself. Uh, do you believe that what you think and what your peers think are important?
So I would say to summarize it, whenever you're thinking about things like that, is it's a two-sided coin. It's most definitely important to foster and care for the relationships that you have out there, to make sure that you have a good reputation about yourself. However, at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do for whenever it comes to impacting others. One of the things that I've learned really great in this book recently that I've been reading, called How to Steal Like an Artist, is one of the things that they said is was you can't was after you put out your artwork, you have no impact on how the crowd perceive was on how the viewer perceives what you made. After you put it out there, that's it. Was I mean, you can do all you can to perceive this certain image, to convey this message and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you can't go inside someone else's head and pick out and tell them exactly what you want them to think about you. That's a completely out of your control. Now, 100% it does matter to have great values and to have a great reputation about yourself. But once again, those things come down to things within yourself. You have to know at the end of the day that you being a great person doesn't isn't defined by was it by however many people tell you you're a great person. It is defined at the end of the day by your own personal convictions and your own personal choices that you make within yourself on a day-to-day basis in your own mind. Because at the end of the day, like was if all that you're doing is living outside of yourself and your mentality, that's the life you're going to be living. You're going to be living a mirror image of what you're living. You're not going to be living your own life. You're going to be living a mirror fallacy that you show everyone else to, hopefully, to please others and everything like that. I think that one of the things that can be most dangerous whenever it comes to valuing other people's opinion and making sure you have a good personal self image is the danger of people pleasing. Because once you go into the danger of people pleasing, you can lean so heavy into it that you just become a code shifter, a chameleon of some sorts. Was it you show one face to one side, you show another face to another side. Also, you can just make sure that every person you interact with shows smiles everywhere. Which, don't get me wrong, as someone who I pride myself as a communicator, right? I feel like one of the things I do great is making people smile, making people feel like it's an open and vulnerable environment when you're talking to me. However, at the end of the day, I still have to remember, and everybody still has to remember to stand 10 toes and stand 100% on your own personal values and convictions. To love yourself at the end of the day, like how Karen Miller said, yeah. Just what was it? Know exactly where you want to stand. And honestly, like one great testament to all those young youths out there, it's completely okay to be figuring out where you stand exactly. One of the things that I feel like is extremely integral in the thing of being a, I wouldn't even say being a youth, but I would say being a learner of life is the fact that your journey of self discovery is never truly over. You're always going to be continually learning and growing and evolving, and your standards will change and shift over time. Like if you look at it with society, I mean, was it whenever it comes to the basic things of gender and sex, it was if you look at it 100 years ago, it was no discussion at it. It was just one and two, and that's it. But you look at it to the modern age, there's a spectrum of things to discuss whenever it comes to it. So with the same way society evolves, you have to remember to evolve within yourself. Don't be a people pleaser, but also understand, you have to keep up your images and things like that. At the end of the day, remain and keep peace within yourself. Love yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're the only person laying inside that bed. You're the only person who's going to be laying inside that bed. I mean, I don't know whoever's laying beside you, but I'm talking about inside your head.
Right.
You're the only person who's going to be laying your head on that pillow whenever you're slowly drifting off in those dreams. Nobody's in those dreams with you. It's just you. So you have to live. You have to be able to live with yourself and live with the decisions and live with the values and the standards that you set for yourself.
Yeah, I love that people pleaser part of what you said. Well, I like everything you said, but that people pleaser that really popped out because I think about we have so many intelligent young men. They have a lot going for themselves. They're on the right road, and then because they want to please someone else or make someone else feel like they're uh, they're equals or they want other people to like them, then they'll tend to start doing those things that they know that they don't believe in, they know are wrong, and then they find themselves in trouble. So that's a big. You said a whole lot right there. Don't be a people pleaser.
Don't do it, man. Don't sacrifice your own personal values for the gratification of others. Well, listen, one thing that my Uncle Ken had told me was a great piece. It was like one of the things that you can learn is whenever you're outwardly pushing things from yourself onto others and you expect a certain reaction, it's almost like giving someone else medicine and expecting it's almost like taking medicine yourself and expecting someone else to feel the repercussions of it. You're sitting there doing these certain things to yourself, you're conforming, you're pushing, you're trying to you mold yourself into these certain images, and so that you can hopefully get this reaction from these certain people. At the end of the day, you're only hoping for this certain thing. You're making so many sacrifices and cuts and what was it and what's the word I'm looking for? And modifications to yourself, right? You're making all these different modifications to yourself and code switching, all these other different things, and sacrificing your value and sacrificing your standards. When at the end of the day, those are the only things that are really going to be able to hold you true to where you need to originally get in life. But yeah, it was a end lesson in all that is don't be a people pleaser. Hold strong to the values that you find throughout life and stand true to them.
All right. So everyone, please make sure that you share this broadcast because what is being said will help so many if they take the time to listen to it and partake of it. So I love that when RJ comes on because he has so much insight and he is not bashful about letting us know what it is that he feels, his self-worth, his values, and what's right and what's wrong. So I love it. And you see the comment from your dad, I guess.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, so thank you, Coach, for tuning in. Tony Lovett and Jeanette Turner, thank you all for tuning in. Self-worth can be maintained or strengthened by being open to compliments. Don't self-criticize. People find themselves doing that a lot, criticizing themselves when they don't need to. You need to continue to develop the skills that you have so that whatever it is that you believe and that you value, that you're keeping that up to date because the world is forever changing. And you use positive affirmations. I'm just believing more and more in those positive affirmations. So, RJ, what tool or aids do you use to maintain and keep that positive, well balanced self worth that you have?
So I'm gonna steal a little bit from my dad here.
Okay.
One of the major points here that he would say is, whenever you reach the age of, let's give an abstract age of 25, right? Whenever you reach the age of 25, you need to have friends that you can talk money with. You need to have friends that you can talk. You need to have friends you can talk religion and spirituality and spiritual growth with. You need to have friends that you can talk future family with. And you need to have friends that you can talk. Well, it's just general like progression, you know. Was
Mm.
it? So I think that was I say all that into in turn to say one of the major key factors that comes into making sure that you build a good system for growing and was it for growing and just building good great self values is having a good people surrounding you. You know, was it's going to be was it to give a preface for it, right? I'm going to go over two major points for it. The first one is the people you surround yourself with. Is the was it one of the things that my dad used to say is tons of people say it. You say show me your five closest friends and I'll show you your future. That's was it how, however cliche it may sound, it is very true. The fact that the people you surround yourself with can was it will eventually become a was it will eventually become a mirror and was almost a showcase or a foreshadowing of where you are going to be going. Another thing that I actually learned is in the book that I'm reading, Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice, is actually it says that one of the things that he says is if you give me five of your closest friends net worths, it actually shows that it can if you average out those five net worths, it's pretty close to your salary. So was it most people only usually hear that, oh, okay, you show me your five people, I'll show you your future. It really runs to a deeper level. You show me your five people's was how much your five closest friends make. That's probably how close you're going to be making. You show me your five closest friends' spiritual life. That's probably the closest that your spiritual life is. You show me your five closest friends' relationship life. That's probably where your relationship is going to be going. So you have to surround yourself with a good circle. Number one great thing, right?
All
So
right.
whenever it comes into surrounding yourself with a good circle, right? One of the things that also comes into a duality is I feel like, as a young person and as somebody who goes around on a college campus with hundreds, if not thousands of young adults going around and was it plenty of new interactions and new friends that you can make, you also need to understand the principle of was it that there's certain levels of friends, right? There's friends that you can spend 1 hour with, you can kick it with, go and shoot hoops with, everything like that. And that's completely okay. You can leave them at that. It's a great time. Don't go ahead and cut off those friends that you go and hoop with every Saturday just because they're not going the right. No, it's okay. It's fine. There's 1 hour friends, there's 1 day friends, then there's 1 week friends, and there's 1 month friends, and then there's friends that you can have for the unforeseeable future. So with that being the case, you also need to go ahead and audit your friends list. Go through and check your levels of friends because you need to understand and see where the trajectory of the people you're surrounding yourself with are going, and decide is that where you want to go, and then if that's the case, you need to adjust the time that you spend accordingly. So with that being the case, right, I feel like I've generally covered that idea pretty well. So then going to the second point is what definitely matters is what you're putting into your mind in the hours of the day that you probably aren't even thinking about. I'm talking about the hours a day was on your commute drive to school, on your commute drive to work, was it while you're in the shower. Mind your input is the main key of what I'm saying here. Was it now? So for me, what works very well for me is I listen to a lot of audiobooks and podcasts, and honestly just generally YouTube and progressive things in general is one of my best friends. Like whenever I'm in the shower, I'm listening to audiobooks. Whenever I'm sitting here, even if I'm playing video games, I'm either playing an audiobook or I'm playing a YouTube video that has some kind of that's showing me something in the direction that I want to go. So you need to be mindful of what you're putting into your mind on those day-to-day basis in the hours. Now, I'm not asking you to stop listening to Gunna or Lil Baby or whoever you want to listen to, right? I'm not asking you to go and stop all you listen to your artists, but I'm saying be mindful of how much time you're putting into these things. My dad used to tell me this all the time. I feel like I am one of the major culprits of somebody who loves music. Like I can say this, right? I have over almost 3,000 songs in my even though I've only had it for like a year or so now, right? Love music. But the thing to say is, right, you need to understand that for all the hours that you're putting in music, where's it taking you? What exactly is this helping? What direction is this taking you in? What exactly is this helping you with? Now understand, whenever you look at the grand scheme of your life and you're sitting there and you have those times where you're having those comparisons, the people you see online or your close friends or your cousins or your family or just the person whoever you may see on campus or anywhere in life, you sit there and be like, oh man, like how'd they get there? Just like, oh man, they must have got that lucky break in life, or oh man, like what was it? It's just because they were born in this certain into this certain tax bracket or whatever it is, man, right? one of the major factors that people don't often realize is to get to the major brink of success where you're going to want to go to, you have to put in the offline hours, the hours that nobody else is looking for, the hours that nobody else is paying attention to. Was the time where you're putting it, was the time where you're putting it in grinding and you're sitting and putting in the work. Those are the times that are really going to make the superstars. And yes, sir, my dad just commented here, so you were listening. Yes, sir, I was. Took a little bit to get it, right? Was it kids oftentimes don't watch, don't listen to what you say, but they watch what you do. We do listen sometimes. And I'll say I was listening this time, right? One of the major things they can do is most definitely be mindful of what you're putting into your mind on a day-to-day basis. Now, I'm not asking you to go ahead and go out and buy a 20-hour audiobook and play it for the rest of this week, but just add it into your routine here and there where you can. 10 minutes a day can make a can make a lifetime's difference in a year. Was it making the small changes now for your future? It can be a paradigm shifter. It can be an absolute game changer. So be mindful of what you're putting into your head. Now, I would want to also say, whenever you're being mindful of what you're putting into your head, you also have to know what you want. So for me, and what I've decided to go into with being a speaker, like everything for me in this past like month or so, especially over the starting of the new year, has been, okay, RJ, what's your thing, man? What's the thing that RJ is known for? What's he do? So I'm a 20-year-old who's about to turn 21. For all those young adults and everything out there, you may feel like you're a bit directionless, I had to go ahead and decide to know what I wanted. And after I knew what I wanted, I did the research. Now to give a parameter for those who want to know the research, I feel this is just a great rule of thumb for how to do great research. Firstly, figure out the general goal that you want to go for. After you figure out the general goal, like I'm talking about, okay, so I'll give my personal example, right? The thing that I want to improve on is content creation. I want to learn how to do content creation well. When I'm coming videography, script making, the right people, the right lighting, the right storylines, all this other stuff, right? So I decide what I want. I want to do content creation. So I found out the baseline. After you find the baseline, then the next level you want to go to is find the people. Find the people that are good in this area. Go out and find them. Go out and find those people that you like. Find the great people who do great content and the style that you like, and they preach a great message. And their overall just image is great? Oh, you like it? Go ahead and follow them. Follow their moves and everything like that. After you follow their moves, then if you can, do the research of what they study and study what they study. One of the great things that I feel like makes humans different than any other animal and any other species on the planet is the fact that we learn from our ancestors. That's one of the things that makes us amazing. That's why books are so popular. That's why the internet is so huge and so massively useful. It's because we're taking information from everybody who's not us, and everybody who long dang, I forgot how to say the word predecessor. You know the idea. The people who preceded us. There we go.
Right.
That's one of the things that makes us as a human species amazing, is the fact that we can learn and we're mindful of the people who came before us. So the major things to say is know what you want. After you know what you want, find the people who are good at what you like and what you want. Then after that, then go ahead and do the research of what those people did and what those people learned in, right? So with that being the case for me, I went out and for me, like my content style, like Casey Neistat. I like I think his name is Nicola Yo, right? And after I found those people, then I went in there and I found out where they got their inspiration from, what kind of books they read, what kind of people they practiced, what kind of movies they watched, right? After I found that, I started finding my style. And then the last part is to put it into application. Number one thing out there for a lot of those young adults out here, once you put it to application, put your rubber to the road, man. Go ahead and get that work out there. Once you put your rubber to the road, one of the best teachers out there, right beside an actual mentor, is experience. So go ahead and get your experience. Those are the points that I would say is the major tools that I won't say that everybody would need, but these are a great basic set of tools for anybody who wants to go ahead and be mindful and be conscious of the next steps of where they want to take it in life whenever it comes to being progressive, Oh,
Yep.
Jesus, hot.
That's good. I mean, and like I said, please, please, please share this video. Great nuggets, but I love that you talked about know where you want to go. And then once you do that, you got to do the research. You don't just go out there and say, hey, I got it. You got to do the research. You connect with those people that can assist you in that. Your dad's always talking about there's someone assigned to assist. And then you got to apply it. It doesn't do you any good to have it all up here or all on a pad or whatever, and you do nothing with it. So you got the formula. So like, you got it.
Thank you. Yep.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. We have Vito, Patrick, Carol, Crockett. I think Brady Robinson has joined us. Thank you all for tuning in. This is a great conversation. If you missed the first part, you have to go back and listen to it. It's amazing. A person's self worth is a result of, as I mentioned before, their core values, their ethics, the hobbies that they like to do, the careers that, uh, if it's a career that they love to do, not one that they just are out there doing, but something that they have thought about, their financial position. Actually, I found in my research, even childhood experiences can impact your self worth. Those things that you like to do as far as community and helping out and mental health. We cannot forget about mental health. So, RJ, would you say that you have positive self worth? I know the answer to this, or low negative self worth. And what, if any, of the attributes I mentioned have impacted you the most?
I would say I would definitely say I have positive self worth. Was it to give it also give a PSA to everybody out there. It is a journey, you have to grow with it. Was everybody has those down days, right? Nobody ever feels perfect all the time. I know that I have my speeches I mess up and everything like that. But was it definitely have a positive value of self worth and have a positive self image. And I would say that the factors that probably played some of the biggest parts for me in building my self worth is hello Claire Clockett. Let's thank you for tuning in. The I think that the parts that played the one of the biggest parts for me is don't just know apply it. Yeah. So one of the parts that played the biggest part for me whenever it comes to building my own self worth would be childhood and just overall like the people in which I was surrounded with, like not what was it and the people I surrounded myself with was I would say that to was it to give emphasis to the fact that it's grown over time. Was I've had people all the time growing throughout life giving me positive affirmations, telling me, RJ, you're doing great, RJ, you're gonna be destined for great things, everything like that. But as I've grown and as not only has people spoken great things to my life, but I've manifested and made these things into existence. It's also been an amazing thing into my own self value and self worth to then talk to these same people who, as a kid, saw me growing up saying, "Hey, RJ, I know you're going to change the world," and sit here and tell them about my makings and about my small little steps in progress to get there. Going back to those people and going back to your village and being able to commune and converse with those people, it can do was at least giving on personal reference for me. It can do wonders for your self value because it can show the fact that for all those times that you had self doubt, all those times that you weren't sitting there believing in yourself, those same people who said that RJ, you're going to do great things at 3 years old, were still rooting and cheering for you at 20, still
Yeah.
rooting and cheering for you at 17, still rooting and cheering for you at 14. Like they were still cheering you on. So if those same people had that same belief in you to be able to accomplish those great things, there's no reason you should be able to stop in yourself. Because at the end of the day, everybody else can believe in the world in you, right? Like you could have there's 7 billion people on this planet. There could be 6,999,000,000, so whatever, right? You could be that many people that believe in you. At the end of the day, the only person who matters who really believes in you is you at the end of the day. So you do have to internalize those things. Understand understand that those things that the things that people are saying was actually to backtrack a little bit on it to give people a little bit better context, right? I think that one of the other great things that can really, really help build upon self value and self worth is also gaining great knowledge. Once you gain great knowledge, you can put logic and great problem solving and great conclusions to the things that people are saying. Then it also adds a logistical foundation to everything, to all the affirmations that there are out there, right? If
All right.
people had always told me just like RJ, you're such a handsome young man, and this, that, whatever, oh, you speak so well, everything like that, but I didn't I didn't do any research on vocabulary. I didn't do any work on learning how to do a proper skincare routine. I didn't learn how to do any work on what a great physique looks like or how to properly take care of my hair, my face. Wouldn't know what great versions of these things look like. So
Mhm.
without having a great reference point to be able to say, okay, that is what a great version of this looks like, I wouldn't be able to know and be able to positively affirm what these people are saying. And then on top of that, I wouldn't be able to positively affirm what I'm saying. So I feel like was having great knowledge and be able to learn and be able to logically back up all the great things that people give you in life is an absolutely key factor in learning all the various factors that impact it was it can impact your self-value, your self-worth. And also going back and doing the history work to also show was it to find out where your childhood may have played a part is also a major key factor. One of the things that I learned out here recently is the fact that was how you were saying is how your childhood can have a profuse impact on your modern was on your modern day actions and your modern day movements is the fact that like something as simple as always being encouraged to finish your plate growing up can have a ripple effect all the way out to your 40s, 50s, 60s, right? Was it's a conversation starter that comes up to it was it to the dinner table for me all the time is on the fact that my dad would be sitting there eating and he'll just be like, man, I forget that I don't have to finish this plate. Was that I was raised to sit here and finish my plate every single time. Was it, mom never said to waste any food in the plate. It's a great principle and everything like that. But sometimes you have to realize and understand the fact that these things that you were taught these things that you were taught while you were younger can have a profuse impact on you can have a profuse impact on you in your modern day and on your future. So it's very important to learn the impact of the things that impact you as a child, and to learn the impact of things that you experience on a day-to-day basis.
Great. I love it. And as you were talking, I thought about I'm reading this book, and the title of it, I can't think of it right now. A friend bought it for me for Christmas, but it's about millennials, and it seems like people are always down on millennials, saying negative things. But you had mentioned that we learn a lot from people from our past, and I like to look at it as in my generation, I can learn from people in my past, but as well, I can learn from people that are in the new generation. So, to me, it's a continual thing. And I think that's something that, more people should look into, because my way is not going to be right. And everything is changing, evolving. So if I just stay on what's now and what's in the past, I'm not going to get that valuable stuff I need from the new generation.
Most definitely. Well, so I think that a principle that sums it up pretty well is the fact that learning in life is never just summarized to just one specific avenue. Where that one specific avenue, for my example, be school, or for someone else, that one specific avenue be their grandpa or their dad or their older sister. It doesn't always just have to be one specific avenue. The way that God has structured life, and the beauty of it really is the fact that life you can learn from everything. The
Mhm.
what was it the true success I believe that can be harnessed and garnered from life is whenever you truly commit to learning lifelong. You become was as how I kind of phrase it is you become a student of life. Was you can learn lessons from anyone, from my little cousin and seeing his kindness and seeing that just seems like unrelentless love that he shows for everybody that he seems to put his hands on, to learning endless lessons from my uncle Ken and my dad. There was a lessons can show themselves from different avenues and different faces, and many times, was it teachers have never just looked one specific way, in a way that what's kind of jarring to me now is seeing new teachers come up now. I mean, like the fact that like I see professors and everything that are in their 30s, or what to me seemed like a teacher always had to be someone who was a bit older, in their 40s, 50s, this, that, whatever. But no, I mean, those teachers and everything that were in their 40s and their 50s, they were at one point in 20, and that doesn't detract from the wisdom they had at that age. They've just gained a lot more wisdom in that time since then.
Right.
So life gives everybody so many different avenues, and gives so many people so many different experiences. It would be a waste to not take away from those things.
That's right. Yes, great insight. So, this has been great. I love it. Just so much that I picked up on, and I'm hoping that everyone was listening and you got a lot out of this segment as well. It pays to know and realize everything starts with you. You should be the captain of your ship. If you're not, you should want to be, because life is about you. To me, we need to do more self care. One of the things your dad's been talking about, and I got from him, was learning to say no. It's okay to say no, because you have to, look out for yourself. For most part, Before you can do for others, you need to make sure you're 100. So there are things that you need to do for yourself. So it starts with you, and whatever you can do to make your life better, your journey smoother, because it's not always going to be smooth, but that will make it smoother. You owe it to yourself to do that. So we thank you for tuning in. Now, as we prepare to close, RJ, give us some thoughts on how a person can change or improve their self worth as they work to build their best lives.
I think you brought up a great point as to was the progress in the journey in building self worth. Positive affirmations, although was however odd they may seem to some people, it can work wonders. That was it. The consistency. The consistency is what consistency is to me what I feel like is the catalyst and the agent of change for all society. Consistency is what creates great athletes. Consistency is what creates great musicians, great teachers, great doctors. So if you take the same theme of consistency with positive self-talk, it can do the same wonders for you. So I think positive affirmations are a great piece in there. Having patience with yourself is so, so important as well. You're not going to be perfect. And to be quite honest, to give you guys a tough break, you're probably never going to be perfect, guys. You're always going to be making mistakes from 20 to 40 to 60 to 80. And that is completely okay. No matter how many great people you may see on social media or down the street or with your neighbor or whatever it was, wherever you may see them, none of their lives are perfect. So with that being the case, you want to make sure that you take your time to be accepting of the patience and peace that you show within yourself. So to go over the 2 points here, consistency, majorly key. Consistency will take you farther than almost anyone else in life. One of the was to give a little reference to it. Remembering the story of the tortoise and the hare, the fact that the hare he ran out, sprinted all the way out in the front, then just sat there, chilled for a little bit. All right, yeah, I'm good. The tortoise though, he sat there one small step at a time. That one small step at a time. Although we may sit there and may not see ourselves as tortoises, some of us may see ourselves as tigers. Some of us will see ourselves as the hare, right? You got to remember that consistency, that one by one, step by step process is going to win out every time. Streakiness can only take you so far in life. So consistency, having patience with yourself, and lastly, remembering the achievements that you've gotten here so far. It's probably been my favorite phrase that I've learned in I don't know how long, but it's the fact that it's here, right? It's the fact that through all of life's trials and tribulations, you are undefeated. No matter how many low points you've experienced in life, you are undefeated. You are a million and oh for all the times that life has knocked you down in your butt. You are a million and oh. What was it? No matter how many times it's happened, no matter those deep dark pitfalls you've had, all those other different types of things, you are still standing. You are still breathing. You made it through. So not only with that to tell you that isn't to tell you, hey, oh yeah, you can push through, you can make it to the next one. That's not to make you feel like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm a survivor. That is here to remind you of how much of a champion you are. Don't see it as, oh, I survived a million times. No, you won a million times what you did. A million times Satan tried to knock you down and put you out of the race, and a million times you got back up. What was it? For 20 years, Satan has tried to take out one of God's strongest warriors, and for 20 years, he has won every time. For 40 plus years, my dad, God has tried to take out one of his strongest warriors, and he's won every time. Remember that for yourself and tell that to yourself every time that you sit there and think that you've lost. No, you've still won. If you're still breathing, you're winning. You have
Yes.
another chance to get back up again and knock it all over again. Was if you're sitting there, you're behind on a deadline. You still have the ability to compensate and to get back on it and get back on that horse. The winners aren't the people who was it. Another great point to say. So this is the one I'll close on is the fact that winners and champions aren't the people who are made inside of the glamorous limelight. Winners aren't made in the easy times; they're made in the hard times. How many times can you get up on the times that it's not easy? It's easy to take a photo shoot and to be great, and to have this great glamorous life whenever it's golden hour and the sun is shining and there's no clouds in the sky and it's a beautiful day. It's so easy to run and roll with that. It's so easy to be a great success image there. But on the times where it's difficult, on the cloudier days, are you still going to hold that same smile? because I guarantee you show a smile on a dark day, it will shine brighter than the sun did on a sunny day. What was it? Be that beacon, be that hope. What was it? Be that beacon of light. What was it? Not only for others, but for yourself, to remind yourself to be that champion. Because to also remind you, was it your experience and your story may encourage people that you've never even met, or encourage people that you've never even met, and may encourage people in ways that you may never even know. A personal friend was, and just to give one last little personal anecdote, a personal friend of mine came all the way from Memphis by himself and made it here and is going to college now. Is at UNT, is a social work major, dude, is doing great in life. But when he told me his own personal testimony and how much stuff he made it through at being at 22 years of age, I was like, man, what can life throw at me that I can't overcome as a 20-year-old right now? He overcame all that. I think I can't do the same. Can be. So yeah. Anyways, to go over the last 3 points again for those who are writing notes. Consistency is key. Have patience with yourself, and remember you are undefeated. So those are the last 3 points I just want to say for all those who are committed to growing and bettering yourself to build your best life. So yeah, those are the last 3 points I want to say on this last one, and thank you.
Thank you, RJ. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I can see you running out of light, so I'm going to go swiftly here. But I thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
And as I stated, if you missed the first part, please go back and when you have some time and review it, because this has been a great segment. It starts with you. Please join us this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Reach Out Thursday. Which one are you? You got to check us out. So thank you again, RJ. I appreciate it when you come on here, because you always keep it 100 and you're always providing good information for our young men. So I really appreciate you taking the time out, because I know you're busy, to come on.
Yeah, thank you. I always appreciate the opportunity. Shoot, I was telling my friends all throughout today that I was going to be coming in to start today. So I was like, hey, man, as soon as I finish off my shift, I'm going to have to catch y'all later. Y'all won't have to hoop with me. I got business to take care of. So it's always great to come on.
All right. Thank you. And Miss Carol say this was amazing. It was great.
Glad you enjoyed it.
All right. So as you go along your busy day, you may encounter a young man who has lost his way. Don't shake your head. Don't steady your path. Stop, reach out, give the young man a helping hand. If we take our time and do more of that, we can assist more of our young men to go along the path that we can see RJ is taking. But some of them need a helping hand. He gave a great testimony about one of his classmates. So we know that some people need our help. So don't look down on people. Reach out and help them. Have an awesome rest of your week, RJ. And thank you, everyone again for tuning in. And I'll be looking for you on Thursday. Good night. Bye-bye.